Hello, everyone, and welcome to our very first weekend review for the Marvel Zombicide game campaign. I am joined here today by producer Thiago Aranha and designers Fabio Cury and Michael Shinall. How are all of you today?
And don't forget to introduce him.
Oh, yes, our big star, right here, joining us in zombie mode, apparently.
Yeah, currently in zombie mode, our dear Galactus.
So it's been one exciting week for everyone, but mostly you guys, I think.
Well, it's kind of crazy. It's only been 3 days, actually, if you count it, which doesn't seem right because I think we've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, well,
years are really starting to add up.
Yeah, you all have been doing it for, 2 years now?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. So yeah, it's our first live show during the campaign. So welcome one, welcome all. Thank you all for watching and backing. Hopefully, it's been quite an amazing start for a campaign, like historical for us. Breaking all the records. We're about to hit $4 million already, which is daunting. Like it's something that we need to kind of wrap our heads around and work the campaign around that. The fact that, yeah, it's pretty big.
It's been, I think, our biggest launch by
for sure.
far. No, but like by double.
It doesn't compare to anything. We're at a different scale here, basically.
I have a feeling that was some onset of a joke there with the Galactus, and I'm just going to brush right past that.
Just a hint, yeah.
But yes, by far this hit. I mean, I'm going to say over twice. I don't exactly know the exact metrics there about how much more than any other campaign we've had, but even in the first 24, the first hour, we blew past the total funding of many of our other previous campaigns.
Yeah, and we're already at over 15,000 backers. Like, yeah, it's very nice to see like all the work we've put into this kind of be appreciated in that sense, because you never know if it's going to resonate with people. It was kind of a gamble to go. Sure, people love Marvel, but then you have the Marvel zombies, mixing zombies with superheroes, and especially like flipping the whole game on its head with zombie mode and devouring bystanders and all the gruesome depictions of those beloved heroes. So you never know how that's going to come across. So it's nice to see it finding a fan base, basically.
Well, we are now in our third day, and we already have a lot to show. So we might want to start there.
Yeah, we've been we had our daily bugle rewards twice a day, plus a few extras on the first day, and then stretch goals. So yeah, we've been adding more and more stuff to everybody's pledge, and the rewards do go to everybody's pledge. Doesn't matter which pledge you have, because there has been some confusion now. If I only have the Marvel Zombie score box and not the X-Men one, do I get everything? Yeah, all the rewards that we've revealed, at least so far, they are for everybody.
Yeah, that's the technical writing that people are reading into there. But yeah, all applicable stretch goals per tier. But so far, all the stretch goals go toward the same basic there. So everyone's getting those regardless of what they're getting. The base pledge, the expanded pledge, or the full all-in pledge so far at the Galactus.
Yeah, speaking of Galactus, just because I have this is a new sample that just arrived, and I was actually playing around because this one we are making sure that the connections work, for you to be able to swap the heads and all that. So that's working quite well. And even taking out this zombie arm and putting in the hero arm. Yeah.
Hero is a very loose term there. Okay.
Yeah, I always have a hard time. It's living arm, and of course you can place a character there.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Hello there.
During game, you absolutely do not want your character to wind up in the Galactus hand, because that either means that you're going to get eaten or that you're going to get your power just siphoned out of you.
I thought it was like a friendly gesture, like
A pick-me-up.
Yes.
yeah, pick me up, literally.
It's going to be a long stream. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it's going to be long.
Hey, I'm the only one doing this at 2 a.m. in the morning. Don't complain.
True.
So,
Well,
want to talk about some of those extras we've been adding.
Yes. Yeah, we opened immediately with some Marvel household names with the very first Daily Bugle.
Yeah, we did like a batch of 6. I think I don't even know which ones are which, but I believe this was in the first batch. We had hero version or hero again. The hero term is always a weird thing because Sabretooth as a
Listen,
living.
if you're alive, you're a hero. That's basically what that means at the moment, okay?
Yeah, and that's an important thing to that allows us to explore a lot of interesting kind of team ups. That if you're alive, you're going against the zombies. If you're a zombie, you're going against the living folks, and that's it. Like the lines of what's a villain and what's a hero, they're kind of gone in the zombie apocalypse.
And just to talk on that, even the original run, that was kind of Magneto's whole thing. Like the guy who has been like the whole, mutant supremacy and everything there is the one that's like, no, now those lines don't matter. It's living versus dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. You have living wasp.
Wasp.
Avenger
I just love the bases. Like sometimes I pay more attention to the bases than I do to the.
I think that the highly scenic bases is something that like really stand out in this campaign. We've worked a lot from Marco Keketo's artwork. Like he always was suggesting like for like Ms. Marvel. I don't know if you can see here my camera. I need a better camera. But there's like a zombie buried in the ground, which we kind of used to prop her up so she can be jumping around. So this was like a huge challenge for us in terms of the sculpting, the molding, the production. Like it's really like a step up in what we usually do. But it's we see the reaction. We see how well people are receiving these like amazing scenic sculpts, and not just with the elaborate bases, but also even the poses themselves. It allows us, like, we are kind of no holds barred, like doing extreme action poses, like with twisted arms and legs, and like lots of depth and movement to the characters. And of course, that does mean that these are not simple miniatures to mold, to produce. Like they are all multi-part. Some of them are ridiculous. Like when I get, like, I will send a file to the factory and then they'll tell me, oh, this is 6 parts. This is 4 parts. This is, and I go, oh, that's that's tough. Like how can we? And we try to optimize things to make it feasible, but we're not cutting corners. Like we are doing things like we've never done before, but that people should realize that does mean that each of these figures, like, it's the equivalent of at least 2 normal figures that we would do in a normal line. So we need to balance our output here in that sense.
The thing is that when you
No, I was just gonna add that, to be very honest, I love painting my models and I also base them. So honestly, having a model that comes already with a scenic base that I don't have to make and that is much better than anything I could ever do, to me is highly appreciated, right? I believe that these scenic bases, they bring the models to life, and they also save me a lot of hobby time in something amazing, right?
And that's what I was going to like key on there as well, is that, we've done like miniatures for, the entire time we've been around. Zombicide, alone, has been doing 10 years. Just even starting there, the miniatures were good quality. We've only improved over the decade, but taking and putting the scenic bases on here, just of all the little Easter eggs, the little details, because there's a difference between like scenic bases and what we have here, because like when you think of like, oh, it's a scenic base, you'll think like, oh, there's some cobblestones or some rocks on the ground or something. But
it's not texture, it's a scene.
Yes, these are basically every single one of these miniatures is a little miniature diorama. Like, do you have the Magneto one there, Thiago? That's the one that keeps.
I don't have the Magneto
Okay.
one, sorry.
Well, what about Colossus?
No.
Oh my god, okay, strike two. Okay, fine, pick one that looks really cool to you. Do not disappoint me, please.
I will not.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yes.
So like here, you have just an entire scene playing out with your zombie storm with a giant, whirlwind of skulls coming off the base. That already right there, you have a story, you have something cool just even right there. And that's just the addition of the base. And that's how much that can actually really matter.
Yeah.
Like any single one of these, you could just take and just right there, boom, you have a little display piece that's worthy of anything that you could just, you would buy it on its own. Like I cannot gush enough about the scenic bases that we have. Yeah.
And also we have some pretty impressive ones. This is one of the first ones we sculpted. We kind of set our standards for this whole line, which is the living Hulk.
Can we get a side-by-side of Hulk and another hero too, by the way?
Okay, let's see a hero standing up in a kind of, okay, let's see. Bring back Daredevil. Well, first, let's allow Daredevil to shine on his own, because, come on, he's Daredevil. Don't shortchange him. But...
Oh, wow.
That's...
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just putting a proper sense of scale there about, how big some of these heroes can get.
Yeah.
And of course, we are keeping to like a 32 to the eyes scale for kind of your standard human. But yeah, there are some that will be bigger. Like you have like Luke Cage. He's a big boy, so he'll be a bit beyond that. He's very burly. And even I think Hank is a little bit above the average as well, with his little flasks and books on the base. And I'm going to talk about the active poses, like the zombie beast. I think is one that I really enjoyed how dynamic we made it.
Yeah, you have that really good sense of like acrobatics there.
Yeah, balance on a single hand, and I don't know if you can see how like this upper hand is just hanging in there barely.
Hanging for dear life.
Yeah.
So I guess we can sit there and just show model after model, but we should probably keep moving on about the unlock stuff, because we were still only on the first thing. We were the first Daily Bugle, which, by the way, before we continue, just really shout outs to J. Jonah Jameson for keeping the Bugle running during the zombie apocalypse. That's some really dedicated effort there.
That's commitment.
Yeah, that was a fun little addition when we were discussing about doing like daily rewards. I was like, how can we like theme them? And we've done several different kinds of daily rewards in the past. And then I think it was our director David who said, Daily Bugle. Yeah, okay, Daily Reward is a Daily Bugle, and so the whole thing developed. And then Isa came up with the idea of like having J. Jonah Jameson like talking to his staff and using that as hints for the next one. So yeah, it's always fun to like use the property to keep things fun and engaging and explore what we could with that whole thing.
Since we're talking about the models, I see a question here. Sorry, just so we can address it. I think it's a quick one, but how does the models from this campaign measure against the Zombicide characters, the rest of the line?
Well, measure against, you can take this in two ways, right? Well, as far as measure against in terms of quality, well, they're bloody awesome.
Oh, I assumed he meant like the size, the scale.
I know. But yeah, the scale is basically the same as standard Zombicide, 32 millimeters to the eyes. So basically, if you look at the bystanders, I always say bystanders. The bystanders, they are basically Zombicide characters because they have the 25 millimeter base. Their base does have texture, but it's not like the whole scenic base. It's just something to give it a bit more flair. And then the heroes, they are in that same scale. But of course, because they have the scenic base and they're always climbing on top of something, they look more imposing, and some of them are more imposing because they are bigger. But yeah, they are all within that same scale.
I also think it's good noting that scenic bases usually bring the models up. So although when like 32 millimeters to the eye would be like the size of the person, but if they're on top of a rock or something, obviously the miniature is going to get higher than 32 millimeters, but it doesn't mean that they're on a different scale. It's just that there's more props.
Yeah, of course. So when you see these models on the table, like the heroes, they stand out. They look more special because they are in the context of the game. And then you have the bystanders like moving around. They are secondary characters to this plot. So it works out that their presence in the board matches their role in the game.
Yeah, I see a comment about that. So maybe we can address it. I don't know. I am quite enjoying seeing all the side characters I've read about for decades getting a chance to shine. Like seriously, who can't love Trish Tilby?
So I do believe that that's probably like one of my favorite aspects about this project is like, yes, we made a bunch of cool superheroes and we just have a bunch more to even show and come out with. But to me, really the unsung heroes of this are the bystanders, because this is going to be the first and maybe only chance that people are going to have to get some actual physical models of some of these characters that, have existed for, 50, 60 years in Marvel and everything. It was funny when we were going through the process of picking all the cool bystanders, like who do we want to include, where are deep cuts coming and everything. So we wanted to have a good mixture of those because like, okay, you have the new MCU movies. So like everyone knows who like Happy Hogan is, Pepper Potts, but then you have some characters that, are some kind of deep cut ones. I wouldn't say that like Thunderbolt Ross is really deep cut because he was in a couple of Hulk movies,
Trish Tilby is.
Trish Tilby, yes, definitely fits in that category there. Especially, I think some of the X-Men one specifically, it was actually a little tricky there because the problem when you get into like the X-Men side of things is that almost every single person seems to have had some kind of point in their career where they were a superhero in some capacity. The good comparison here is the Moira McTaggart one, who for decades and decades was just a scientist. She just does science. And then, boom, randomly, by the way, she just happens to be the focal point of the entire universe. Just for a little bit, and now she's not. But so that is really the case with a lot of the bystanders, because frankly, there are a lot of the bystanders, especially on the X-Men side, that could have been made into like their own hero, but you have to make that line there. Okay, who are the ones that are going to be the full superheroes, and who are the ones that are going to be requisite to bystander mode? Like Calypso, I know comes to mind. The leader of the Morlocks there. Like, yes, she is a very strong, capable fighter on her own, but she's a bystander here.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how that comes out there. But frankly, speaking just mechanically as well, the bystanders are probably one of those additions in the game that became my personal favorites. Because originally, like, okay, yeah, they're going to do this. They're going to get you a power when you eat them. But then we started expanding their mechanics where there's more interaction from them on the board. They actually start moving around the board. They try to get to superheroes in superhero mode. They try to escape the zombies in infected mode. You've got combat bystanders. You've got non-combat bystanders. You've got all the other cards that interact with them, such as like hidden bystanders, that spawn. Now they're sneakily moving across the map. You've got to rescue them. They became a much bigger part of the game from where they initially were. But every single time that their role has gotten bigger, it's really felt like dynamic and fun.
Yeah, because they are not just an equipment card with a glorified miniature. Like they have become really characters on their own. They have a presence in the board, and they really help create those memorable scenes. Like, and one thing when we were choosing the bystanders, we always try to have bystanders that would have a strong connection to the heroes you were playing. So it's an enemy, it's a lover. It's like you would have those choices, and the pain of seeing them being devoured. I need to go rescue her because it's Spider-Man and Aunt May or whatever. So creating those connections was something that was really, really fun, and we tried to do that as much as possible.
And actually, just to throw a shout out to the Quackalope gameplay video, during the hero mode gameplay, all of their little storyline interactions that they created between Mystique and Senator Kelly, Like that's exactly the type of thing you want to see when you're playing this game. Is you want to see those cool little moments. Like Spider-Man was not able to save Aunt May. Spider-Man showed up to save Mary Jane and got eaten by Hulk. Senator Kelly. There were two Senator Kellys wandering around. One of them was Mystique, but they weren't exactly sure which one it was. And then they had to sacrifice him in the end to make a getaway. These are things that really could just, every one of these moments could come out of a panel of a comic and it feels appropriate. And that's one of the things I like most about this project, is that it feels like you're just making your own comic stories, your own what ifs as you're playing through the game.
Honestly, even as like a game designer and game developer, and not just in this project, in any project, once you played 100, 200 times the same scenario, it usually starts becoming just like numbers running through your head, and you're just going through the motions to try to find like mechanical problems. But I honestly must say that it was really more lighthearted playing with the Marvel Zombies, the Zombicide game IP, because of exactly this, right? Every time, if it wasn't Senator Kelly, you would have drawn another bystander, and it would have been just as fun. Once again, like it looks like it came straight out of the comic book. All these possibilities could exist inside like a comic book. So it was really interesting that for like the first time in a long time, we didn't get like this fatigue of like the last few weeks of design development. It kept us hyped, and really I think that excelled, right? Because all the time we were like, no, they need more life. The bystanders need to be like to have personalities, right? And that's, I think, how these additional rules started popping in, and they just fit so well that we're very, very satisfied and happy.
I have another question here. Sorry. Yes, let's look at some videos.
I found him here. Little zombie Wolverine. Yeah, that's another aspect. The dual modes and versions of superheroes is something that was very fun to explore, both visually and mechanically, because like they're not the same. Well, the game that they play are not the same, but then how they work in the zombie version and the hero version really allowed us to explore like different aspects of the same character in different versions. Like there's the script of something when they become a zombie. You can highlight other parts of them, and it's just nice the fact that even if you don't want to play in one of the modes, like I don't want to play in zombie mode, I want to always be a hero. Any version of a character is useful to you, because if you're playing like a zombie can be your enemy, or it can be your player character if you want to play in zombie mode. So nothing is wasted here, which is quite nice. We don't have to make components specific for any mode, because they work for both.
The last thing I want to say about bystanders too is that, we're talking about mechanics. Like each one of them gives you a unique power, but we fully went in with that. Like every one of those bystanders is unique. Like there's none that are like, like Okoye is just a slightly different version of, Tris Tilby or, Kazar or something like that. Each one of these guys has a unique effect that is going to impact gameplay. Like each, in standard Zombicide, you'll pick up different weapons. And yes, weapons can be very unique in what they do, but they're a stat block. They're an attack, they're a number of dice you roll. Here, every bystander is giving you a unique power that is going to affect your superhero in some way. In some ways, it's going to change how you're playing your hero, how you're interacting with the map. You're going to want to target bystanders because you're going to go like, man, I'm playing Captain America. I really want this specific power. So you know what? I'm going to have to make this sacrifice here. Which one of these guys do I go and eat, or which one do I save? It's going to fundamentally change how you play for the rest of the game. So that's the thing. Like it's very easy as designers for us to sit there and hype up our own thing and talk about like, oh yeah, of course this is the coolest thing ever. But really, like bystanders make a big difference to your overall game experience and your plan.
Okay. I saw an interesting question. Unless you want to keep going with the minis for now, Aranha.
I'm not sure what else. What haven't shown here that I have in my pocket. No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
I just want to show that a little bit more.
Yes, that is one base I specifically loved.
Yeah, with the Nelson and Murdoch sign.
Yes,
And by
such
the
a
way,
nice nod.
he does have a back leg, because from the render, people were thinking he didn't have a lower leg, but no, it's there. It's fine. It's good.
So like I have to say, like we've unlocked probably two of my favorite characters so far in Moon Knight and Daredevil there. But I'm a big fan of the Midnight Suns. Like I had that edgelord phase, like a lot of people did. Don't judge me, but like that whole like group, I love it. Just of how edgelord it is. But Daredevil, I like that. Actually, it's got me to go back and start rewatching the series. Moon Knight, I mean, that's the new hotness, right? But I liked Moon Knight. I remember first time I heard about Moon Knight was the old like Marvel Ultimate Alliance game for the GameCube. Ugh. Anyway, so, but yeah, I posted up some things in the Kickstarter comments about actually some of the favorite combos and everything for Daredevil and Moon Knight. Probably repost those at some point because they're probably buried under the 10,000 comments plus.
15 by now. 1,000 comments. I found my question. How was seeing What If? They have a Marvel Zombies episode. When you knew you were working on this project, I think I read it wrong, but you watched it when you were already working on this project. Did you know ahead of time?
Did we know if there was the What If episode existed? Right.
Well, I think not initially when we first started on the project. During production, we were, because of course we were always talking with Marvel. We were made aware that was a thing, which of course we were very excited by that fact, because yeah, it was a chance to see another interpretation of that property. But they are different things. Even like the What If episode is not exactly taken from the comics. It's just another take on Marvel Zombies. Ours is more tied directly to the comics than What If.
Okay, I'm going to give the 2-minute, if that elevator pitch about the breakdown of Marvel Zombies for the uninitiated as far as the series goes. So you have the original Marvel Zombies comic book, which basically consists of the arc from Marvel Zombies 1, Marvel Zombies 2, Marvel Zombies Returns, and Marvel Zombies Dead Days. If you want your like core to like the original like Kirkman run, it's those 4 volumes you want to get. Marvel Zombies 3 through 12 are cool little side zombie stories, but they don't tie in mainly to the main original Marvel Zombies plot. They're kind of like these little zombie side stories. Then you have Marvel Zombies Resurrection from 2019, which was an entire reboot and a whole new take on it. So you actually have technically 3 main classes of like the zombies that have come up in Marvel Zombies as a series, and that's not even breaking down the fact of like volumes 3 through 12 are their own like mini stories. What this means though is that like the nature of the virus and everything does drastically change, because like in the original run, anything could be a zombie. Anything. If you were a machine, if you were a tree, whatever, you could be a zombie. Cool. In Resurrection, machines were immune, and there were certain other factors that like basically made you immune. Like Blade was the main character in that series, and he was immune because he was already a vampire. Yet Morbius in Marvel Zombies 3 became a zombie vampire, a self-proclaimed Vambi, which I'm sorry, I stole that term. But he could get affected. So it's basically whatever the plot needed at the time. Ours is kind of an amalgamation of all that. We took the elements that we thought were cool and we put them in here. So if we thought we had a cool piece of art, we thought we had a cool concept, we put it in. Although the big elephant in the room about that, as actually Thiago mentioned in the early days of the Kickstarter, we do come across some licensing restrictions about what we could and could not do. That's why it's very much that we needed to state that there are some characters that will not have dual versions. That is not because we didn't want to include them or because we thought they were lame or something like that, but more often than not, if that is the case, that is due to some type of licensing agreement that, for the sake of professionalism, we don't get into details like that. Okay. You don't talk business about these things. If someone especially if something like Marvel, if they say, hey, you can't do something, there are times where we push back and we see if we could do it, but there were other times where it's not going to work out from just a licensing perspective. And so that's the situation of it.
Yeah, we have already discussed, and there are some that, like, just from a lore perspective, it doesn't make sense for them to be the 2 modes from who the characters are, and then there are others that are just mandates which we have to abide by. We already discussed that There won't be like a zombie version of Black Panther, and there also won't be a zombie version of Spider-Man, which is just the way it is. That's
Spider-Man's one of the big ones there, because like Zombie Spider-Man is like the main point of view character, I'm not gonna say protagonist, of the original Marvel Zombies line. But again, strict mandate, cannot have Zombie Spider-Man. Again, we're not going to get into that in every single case there, and we don't really want to go too much into that, because that's a sake of professionalism. Okay, Marvel owns all this stuff; they get to make the decisions here in the end, and if they say that, that's what it is.
And not just that, I think the time it takes to disclose these one by one out of all the pool of existing Marvel characters, right, might be a little too much for this live stream as well.
Sure.
Plus, technically, if we said, oh, by the way, there's not going to be a reverse version of this character, that would technically be spoilers for later if we were or not unlocking them. And, I don't like spoilers.
Yeah, the thing is, don't take it for granted that we're going to get the other version of whatever character we have already revealed. And just to address a bit like the rewards and how it's been going. Because we've tried something a bit different with this campaign, with the not only daily rewards but like twice daily rewards, and basically focusing more on a constant timed reward system instead of stretch goals. And the reason for that is we have been through many campaigns where the campaign blows up in the beginning and we burn through like 2/3 of our stretch goals in the first couple of days. And then what that means is once the campaign goes into the mid slump, there's nothing we can do. We have to like because the gaps, they grew so large during the first days, then it takes days for every single new thing to be unlocked. And that is something we've been always struggling to find that balance between keeping the stretch goals constant, but also dealing with the fact that campaigns always have a strong start and then they slow down, and they usually have a strong end. But you do want to keep engagement and keep the novelty of new things coming throughout the whole campaign. So you can choose, like you can have, okay, everything at the beginning and then just nothing and then it ends, or try to hold the storm during the initial onslaught, so you can guarantee a steady stream. And of course, it's a very delicate balancing act. And with this campaign, like there was no screenplay for this one. Like this is completely off the charts and off our beaten path. So maybe there's some things that we're still calibrating to make sure that we have a nice pace of rewards and things given out. But the thing is, the bottom line is we do have a lot of stuff created. We've been working on this for a long time and very hard to create all this stuff. So we do have a lot available. And so basically what I can say is, if things go half as good as we expect and hope it'll do, this should be one of the campaigns where we give out the most stuff. Like there is no reason why this shouldn't end up with more rewards than Marvel United X-Men, which already had like a truckload of extras. That's what we have in stores. That's what we're shooting for. So I see the comments. I'm there the whole day. So I know some people are anxious about, we haven't seen, like, we are at 4 million already, and where's our hundreds of rewards? We have a whole campaign that we're thinking about. We're not just thinking about the first 3 days. So bear with us. Be nice. We're all people here. We're all trying to do our job. We've all worked very hard to get to this point. So criticism is fine. Just let's have a good time. Let's enjoy this. We all love this. If you're here, you love Marvel. You probably love zombies. So let's see what the future takes us.
Thiago, I thought that was very well said, and I will say this in my own way, being a little bit more blunt to me. And if it gets me in trouble, it gets me in trouble. But this is day 3 out of a 3-week campaign here. We have a lot of stuff, cool stuff on the horizon, and it's just going to ramp up from here. But if this is not to your liking, if the way things are not showing up, if this is causing you actual like frustration or grief or whatnot, I honestly suggest like take some time away from it, man. Come back in a few days. You'll see, a wave of new stuff here that's unlocked, and you'll get excited again. But don't sit there like every hour stressing over something like this, okay? If this is causing you a negative experience, then take a step back, okay? Come back in a bit, see all the stuff that's come, because there's a lot more coming, and it's going to be a fun little ride here. But if checking this hour after hour is causing you like stress, frustration, anger, come on. Your time is worth more than that. You can just come back and see some cool stuff. Speaking of cool stuff.
And of looking into the future.
Let's see some cool stuff.
Yes. Are you all ready? Okay.
Let's go for the cool stuff. Fantastic.
What are we looking at here? Let's just take a closer look, shall we?
Yes, finally we can talk about this.
The Doctor Doom expansion and some other guys.
Yeah, this is Fantastic Four Under Siege, our first full-fledged expansion for Marvel Zombies, a Zombicide game. Take it away, Michael.
Well, I guess let's move on to the first off the next slide here. And well, actually, no, before we move on to that. So some general overviews about this expansion, how it works. Why is this one cool? This one here gives you a set of 4 double-sided tiles representing various floors of the Baxter building and a cool little elevator token. This comes with some cool scenarios that's basically going to see you moving in between those levels, completing objectives, and basically having to move between them. Unlike a standard Zombicide map where everything is laid out in, a 4 to 9 tile configuration. This one here primarily is going to be a series of not connected single floor tiles that you're going to be having to use an elevator to move between. So there's going to be a lot of separation. There's going to be a lot more kind of tactical survival horror kind of feel here as you might become isolated from guys. And then you can get, again, the representation here of the entire Baxter building. And that actually does fit in a few scenarios into like where you'll have street tiles as well. So don't think that the entire thing is just in those buildings. This does come with new scenarios with a bunch of different cool features here, in addition to all the cool characters that you're getting here as well.
Well said. So yeah, let's look at well, I think you know a few of the characters that should be here, at least 4 of them.
At least 4 of them. Hello there.
Yeah, so here are our Marvel's first family, as depicted by Marco Cato with Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, The Thing, and Human Torch. And yeah, and as always, with those amazing bases that Marco suggests us.
Yes, here they are in all their glory.
Here they are. Okay.
My favorite there is Wally. No, I'm just
Favorites here. That is not Wally. I forgot the name of the little robot. I did a
me too. I was trying to remember.
We're about to get roasted for not being able to remember the Invisible Girl's little robot.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite mini of these? Come on, pick.
The Thing.
Oh yeah, it's got to be The Thing. Come on.
Yes, it's got to be
Really?
The Thing, right? Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I like painting the minis. So I was like, wow, doing the invisible kind of like mesh on on Invisible Woman is gonna be so cool, right? So I don't know. I think that's my favorite just because of the painting potential of the character.
Right. Guys, just so you know, the comment section saved us, and it's Herbie.
I don't know if we trust them, but yes.
Isn't that a car? I'm just
It's also owned by Disney. It's fine. They can cross over.
And by the way, I see a question there. We will not be making the Invisible Woman in transparent plastic. At the scale, it wouldn't work well. We know that. That's how she's going to come.
I will say, just speaking of the Invisible Girl there, or Invisible Woman, sorry. Just a quick little design teaser there and whatnot. When we were making her, I remember Fabio and myself went back and forth on her because when she shows up in her enemy mode, the abomination version, there was the choice of well, does she have really high toughness or actually really low toughness? Because she makes these almost big indestructible force fields, but she herself, she can't really take a big blow. And yeah, okay, yes, there are some other continuities where yes, she's almost impervious, whatever. Okay, this is the one we're going with here. So she actually is able to generate this force field that does prevent the other models around her from taking any damage unless you get into her space as her zone, and she has a big high toughness. So she becomes a big problem when other superheroes start spawning around her, or if she's nearby any shield agents.
Let's take a look at some zombies then.
Yes, here they are.
Yes. Dr. Doom, Super Scroll, Namor, and Black Bolt with a little extra there. I think this is one of my favorite touches is that Black Bolt is holding Medusa's head. Just one of those nice twisted touches.
These are very complex. Before you talk about them, can I just get a question here real quick? Can this be used in zombie mode?
Oh, well, so every, like the core boxes, everything is cross-compatible. You're getting all the content here to play the characters in hero mode, in zombie mode, whatever is appropriate here. So Doom, for example, if you're playing heroes, he can show up, and he is terrifying. I love Doom. And he is a big, toughness 5 baddie that starts just... I'm sorry, not going to spoil too much there, but I mean, it's Doom. Come on. A zombie Doom's even a bigger threat. The issue of a lot of the Fantastic Four villains is that all of these guys here are just insanely powerful. Namor is arguably one of the most strongest mutants that's ever lived. Super Skrull is, hey, I'm you guys, but better. Black Bolt can take down everything, and that's ignoring the fact that he's got a big severed Medusa's head with him. And then you have Doom, which is Doom. Come on.
Doom is Doom. Yeah, but the expansion is dual mode. It will have scenarios and all the gameplay stuff to be used on with either box.
Yes, and also the Easter egg out there for the fans, that Marvel Zombies originated in Ultimate Fantastic Four with the Fantastic Four. That's where they came from, and so this does play a lot of homage to that via the scenarios and the tiles as well that you'll see. The dimensional teleporter room, for example. But it was really a lot of fun when we were designing the Baxter building. And just picking out all the different maps and everything that we were looking for, the different floors.
We do have illustration for that.
You're right.
Okay, so just skim through the minis.
Yes.
Next slide.
I have to say, this art, Marco Quequeto, did the sculptor dirty because these must have been crazy to sculpt. Look at the Medusa's hair and Doom's cape.
That's an interesting part of my job because every day would be, here's the latest art from Marco, and I would go, oh damn, this is awesome, but I'm so screwed. How are we going to do this? And then it's figuring out the challenges and how to make this feasible and all that. So
and here they are.
A terrible challenge.
But now they're here and they look incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of texture. That's amazing, right?
I'll ask you guys your favorite here because I've been fanboying out about my favorite here for the last bit, so it's no surprise.
Oh,
Here,
in this case,
I'm kind of split between Doom and Black Bolt. I'm not sure.
No, I'm going with Dr. Doom for sure.
I'm going with Black Bolt.
I think painted up, we're going to see some impressive Super Skrulls.
Oh yeah, the mix of the Thing Rock and Fire and all that. It's a lot of fun. And of course, this expansion does have a couple bystanders, and
here they are.
So we have, like I said, we always try to keep the connection with players. So we have Alicia Masters, the Things. I don't know if she was. Did they get married? I don't recall. I'm sure at some point. At some point,
sure. At some point, yes. Things special friend.
Right, and then on the right there, it was Agatha all along. so it was nice to play up the sorcery aspect, with Doctor Doom, and also like she did play. She was nanny to Reed Richards and Sue Storm's son.
Valerie and
yeah.
Franklin Richards.
Franklin Richards. Yeah. So there's a whole family connection there. Like I said, we always want to have those connections so you can play out those scenes as you're playing the game, and of course, I'm sure she just does bring her own very interesting things to the table.
Also, just to say this as well, in case it was not clear, this expansion has content for hero mode and zombie mode, both. Like, you're getting scenarios for both those in here, and of course, all the content is cross-compatible as well. So, like, you're getting all the hero cards for everyone, you're getting all the zombie cards for everyone in here, where applicable, or their alternate versions. So.
Mm-hmm. And then let's get to what it's always one of the most exciting things about this project, which is the tiles. Like, as cool as the minis are, we always get a lot of excitement out of the tiles. Unless you want to bring something up before, Elena?
Oh, sorry, I was going to pick a question, but that's fine. Let's move on.
So just like we have Marco Chiquetto doing the artwork and all this is amazing, here we have Henning Ludvigsson doing all the tile art. And, he is a master at recreating environments, and he has done above and beyond on this entire project. But here, like, we're just showcasing some of the tiles here. Like, on the left there, you have your street level lobby for the Baxter building. That is used in some scenarios to connect it to a greater Zombicide map. And we'll be utilizing for that. But otherwise, you do have scenarios that take place entirely in the building, with all of these tiles being not interconnected, specifically not connected, but connected via an elevator that you actually have to move between floors. So you strand someone on a floor, you might have to make a rescue to go find someone else on another floor. Well, leave someone there. They can't get off there until that elevator comes back. And okay, it might be a zombie movie trope, but it's a lot of fun. You never know what's going to be an elevator when it opens. So, you can't, always expect the unexpected.
Yeah, and on that tile on the right, you see a key thing about this whole expansion, right? Because it's kind of the whole reason why the Baxter building is under siege. Can you talk a little bit about that teleporter there?
So we have the dimensional teleporter, which again in the original Ultimate Fantastic Four, Reed Richards was contacted by another Reed Richards from an alternate universe, and they built a dimensional teleporter to be able to cross over. And surprise, surprise, it was a bunch of zombies, like the zombie Fantastic Four. That's how they broke into that reality and almost overtook that dimension. And in the Marvel Zombies storyline, it does feature an important part of the lore as well in the original Marvel Zombies 1 and Marvel Zombies 2. More so Marvel Zombies 2. But either way, it's a dimensional teleporter. Once the zombies have wiped out all life in the universe, they're still hungry, so they're looking now for other universes to conquer.
I saw someone asking if that was Galactus's arm on the floor there.
Yeah, I saw
but no,
that too.
that's Galactus's finger on the floor there.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think I saw this as well. The tiles these are the same size tiles as a normal Zombicide tile, so they're the same size and specs. They fully integrate with all the other core boxes, so you can actually have some cool fan-made scenarios, I'm sure, as well. Incorporating the Baxter building in there.
You can see there are 4 tiles in the expansion, front and back. Can we see another couple more?
Yeah, here we are.
And so we're only showing half of the art you're going to see. So we have the hangar there with several versions of the Fantastic Car and different spaceships.
Flying bathtub.
Yeah, the infamous flying bathtub in a couple of different versions. And then you have the rooftop over there with another severed Galactus finger and a crashed helicopter. I think it's a specific helicopter, the Fantastic Copter or whatever.
I saw that question. Yeah, found it. How many scenarios in this box?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Oh, that's not something we're going to be revealing right now. Namely because we're still trying to add some in there. We haven't finalized the number. But you're going to get your content's worth in there. And again, keep in mind, you're getting scenarios in there for both game modes as well.
People seem to be very excited about playing as Dr. Doom.
Mm-hmm.
As you should be.
As you should, of course.
Well, that's the coolest thing. Yeah, for sure.
Can you guys talk about that a little bit more?
We could, but I almost kind of want to keep that for a post show that we can talk about, not the comments and whatnot, and just talk about like some of the cooler aspects there, because we don't want to just give away everything here. We've already shown enough. We don't want to information overload. But I think that would be a cool little discussion there, whatnot, to go over like some of the different zombies and heroes in there and how they play.
Yeah. So couple important things. So this expansion, it is not exclusive. Like it will be on retail at some point later on. However, people getting the expansion in the Kickstarter, they will get it. There will be a discount from what the expected SRP will be, and we'll also be giving a few promo characters with the box. Not sure how they come, but yeah, a few characters that you basically counterpart versions of some of the characters in the box that will only come. They'll be exclusive to getting the expansion in the Kickstarter. I do have one of their miniatures here. So this is the living Super Scroll, because villains can be heroes as well.
Listen, Super Skrull went through some different stages as well in the comics. It wasn't always a villain, and really, heroes, villains, it's all subjective.
Right.
If you're alive, you're a hero.
Zombies.
Yeah. Exactly. If you're alive, you're a hero. And if you're dead, even Mr. Fantastic can become.
Okay, except for Mr. Fantastic, he was pretty villainous in that time series.
Right.
he kind of had a mental
terrifying.
breakdown.
Yeah, that's a very grabby zombie. So it's interesting. It's hard. It will be hard to get away from his grasp with his very.
Doesn't rubber snap when it gets old?
It's not that old. Come on. It only has.
And is it rubber?
Great temples. Yeah. And there are a couple more. You will see the update will go up as soon as we wrap this live stream. So go and check it out. What else? There'll be more. There's more in store, of course.
I think that kind of covers most of our week. We're not even through the first week. This has been 3 days. Tuesday is technically our week start. However you want to view that. But yeah, we're 3 days in.
Yep. Oh, and also we're talking about the discount for the Kickstarter. One important thing to note that I see people asking about, like the retail price of the core boxes on retail, and basically the price of the base pledges is the SRP for those boxes, $130, because those are expensive boxes. Those are chock full of. Let me see, I don't think I did the count. How many miniatures are in those core boxes? So we have like each core box with 87 miniatures, and like I said, a big portion of them very complex, big, scenic, multi-part, kind of nuts, plus all the usual stuff you expect on a Zombicide box. So
this is one of our most visually impressive games that we've done.
Yeah, plus this is a licensed game. This does come with a cost, so we're not adding any extra cost to Kickstarter backers. This is what things cost. It's it's the reality, and also the same thing with shipping. We know shipping is expensive, and we would love for it not to be, but it is, and especially now, things are not in a great position for worldwide shipping. So we need to deal with the realities as they come. I can guarantee you we're not taking any profit at all in terms of shipping. Usually we take a knock on that, but that's what it is. This guy is big. It costs a bit to ship it around. The boxes are heavy. They cost a bit to ship around.
I don't know if you guys have ever tried shipping a small child, but it is not cheap. Doesn't matter what courier service you use.
I hope they have not tried that.
Oh, sorry. Hypothetical. Hypothetically, if you've tried to ship a small child, it is not cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Totally. Well, we're almost an hour in, and Aranha has an update to publish. So I think we need to start wrapping it up.
I thought I had something else I had to say. I had no idea what you were talking about.
No, are the Fantastic Four not coming? Are we teasing them and then holding them back?
I'm going to sleep. I'll let Isa and Guile handle this whole update posting nonsense.
Yeah, as you should. Okay,
Mhm.
fair. Well, on my end, I would like to thank you all three of you, and all of you currently in the campaign. This has been amazing. It's so great to see that you all are as excited as we clearly are for this project. So thank you. Any final words from you guys?
Yeah, I couldn't be more thankful and more grateful for the opportunity that was given, and more than that, for all the current backers, right? Which is already in some ways a validation of what we're doing and where we're going, right? So I'd really like to thank all the backers and everyone watching that is still hesitant in backing, right? I hope we've changed your mind, and welcome aboard, right? All true believers.
Well said.
And I'd like to add that it is clobbering time.
How that is
I love the detail of the Yancey Street sign there on the top.
and the fire hydrant. So cool.
Fire hydrant, lamppost, walk, don't walk sign.
I'm gonna throw out that one of my puns that stayed with me that I absolutely hate is by the zombie thing, and his famous "It's slobbering time" line, which. Okay.
Oh, it is clobbering time.
I was gonna say, clobber that like button or something
Oh,
like that.
Don't do that, please.
Oh, jeez, it looks like we're out of time.
Okay, yeah. Cut the feed, please.
Well,
See you next time, guys.
see you next time. Thank you so much. Talk to you all soon.